Alright, I'm going to show you guys how I make my glue sticks. Alright, these are the ones I made in Florida. I'll show you a picture of that real quick. And these are made of charcoal, rabbit feces, and some are made with just charcoal, some are made without anything. And I'm going to show you the difference of the ones that are made without, okay? Because there is a difference. You can make different kinds. Okay, now here's a glue stick with just plain resin. Okay, this was just boiled in water, and it's pretty strong. And it depends what sap you're getting, because this sap down here, if you look right there in that coconut shell, that clear colored stuff, that's from Michigan, from a white pine. Okay, it's dried out. Okay, and then this here is different. This is from Florida. Some of it might be from Michigan, I can't remember. That right there is a giant hunk from Michigan, off of could be a red pine, I'm not sure. But it's all different, and they all make different glues. Okay, now with this clear stuff here, it's right here, that's what you would use to make your gum, because we're also going to make gum. Alright, you'd need a little container with some water, and I'm going to show you how to do that here in a minute. Let's go back and look at this. So here's our glue stick that has nothing but just yellow pine sap in it, boiled. Okay, this is where I just let it sit in some water and harden up, and I scooped it out with this stick right here. Smack this on wood, and I did lose a little piece there at the top, but it's, other than that, it's pretty strong. And that's where not putting anything in comes in. Okay, you see how that broke off real smooth right there? Alright, that's the problem that it has when you don't put anything in it. It makes a great glue, like it'll bind like smaller and smaller increments, kind of like you would use like a glue to glue something small to another piece of something. Okay, you see how it's glued to this stick right here? That's what I mean. It would put fletching on pretty good on your arrows. But it will, in large amounts like this, clump away. Okay, now here's some with just charcoal in it. Alright, there's no fiber in this whatsoever. Alright, you can see that I can push on it and it crumples. See how that crumples like that? That's the problem without putting any fiber in it. See, I broke it right off the stick. Okay, and that's what'll happen if you don't put anything in it. And that's why I made these, just experimenting in Florida to see the difference. Alright, now this one here is a really great glue stick. Okay, this one here is, I mean, it's strong. My ring here is made of carbide. Okay, it's not breaking. You can see it's just kind of just chipping away right there a little bit at it, but it ain't breaking. This has, you know, your rabbit dung, and you've got some hardwood charcoal in there. Alright, that's what you want to put in these to make them strong. But there is other ways to make different types of glue that are stronger and that are used differently. So we're going to go ahead and make some glue sticks, and Jeremy's over there working away, getting the fire hot, and we'll come back with you in a second. Okay, so I'm grabbing all these real nice clear pieces of sap here. Alright, see how easy that breaks? Breaks off real easy. Doesn't take much at all. Got a little thing of water going on here by the fire. Oops. You want the nice clean pieces in there. Okay, you don't want no bark or nothing on it. You just throw them right in the water, and that's how we're going to make our glue. And the key is to let that get real melted down, and when you stop smelling pine, that's when you're good to go. Okay, so we're going to get that ready and go to the next step after that with that. Okay, so I've got that stuff on the water in there. That's going to be for our gum. Remember, clear is good. And then I just have this stuff here just sitting there. Okay, that doesn't need water necessarily to make our sticks. And what I'm going to do is let that melt down into almost nothing. And we have some fur from a squirrel. I've got some charcoal mixed with rabbit poop. And the rabbit poo, the reason you use it is because it's got fibers in it. Alright, it works good. They eat grass, and it helps bind it together. Just like in cement, if you were to put rebar in cement, it serves the same purpose. This stuff here, almost the exact same purpose as rebar. Okay, it's real long, it's real strong. You put that in there and it's going to help bind that together. Alright, Jeremy over here is working on our piece of bone. Here, show him that quick, Jeremy. It's just a piece of vertebrae from a deer. Okay, any piece of bone will work. That's going to act as the same thing as your charcoal and turn your pine into almost cement. And he's just got his file held in there and he's just filing it down, making nice fine little pieces in there. You can do that, you can scrape it with your knife, whatever you got, that's what you got to use. Okay, my pine sap down here, I've removed all the bark. You want to go through it, make sure there's no chunks of bark in it or anything. And now I've got this texture here. Okay, you don't want to let it sit on the fire where it's too hot. That's why I moved it, because it'll start on fire on you. Alright, and you actually don't want to cook it too much because it actually loses its strength. And that's why that piece I boiled is so strong, because if you boil it, it actually seems to make it a little stronger. But you can make it either way. So now that we got this consistency here, we want to mix in our fibers. Okay, so I'm going to mix in some squirrel fur and some charcoal on this one. Okay, so here's our squirrel fur. You usually want to go about 50-50. Okay, so right there, I'll say that much squirrel fur, and we want to do about the same amount of charcoal. Okay. So then what we do is we keep this heated, like so. And you just start stirring this around. Okay. I pulled it off the fire a little bit so it got a little cooled. That's alright. We'll just get it heated back up. See, I'm just going to twist that stuff around like this. Okay. You just want to mix it up just like you're mixing up cement. And as we're doing this, we got our other stuff here cooking away. That's what we're going to make our gum out of. It's starting to get pretty gooey. So then we're going to start stirring that up until we get all that smell of pine removed from it. So I'm going to mix this up and then we'll get back with you in a second here. Okay, so I mixed this all around. Got that hair really churned around in there. And now I'm just taking and spinning this around the stick. Now, when you use hair, the process of getting your glue on a stick is a little different. Okay? This is a lot different than making it with just charcoal. Okay, I'm just going to show you what this stuff is like. Alright, so what I'm doing is just kind of spinning it almost like cotton candy around a stick. Just getting that pine sap all up in there. Okay, and I'm going to push real hard and work it on there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this water, cool it down. Okay, pine sap's waterproof. It's already hard. Come back over here. We're going to scoop ourselves some more pine sap. Okay, you want to coat this stuff real good. Okay, come over here, cool it off. Get yourself a little more. Just clean it all up out of there. Come over here, cool it off. Okay, doesn't hurt it at all putting water on that. It just hardens it so it doesn't, so you can just quick come back over and get some more sap on there. Okay, now usually you wouldn't just goop it up like I did right there. With the other stuff you won't do that, and I'm going to show you that here once we get some more pine sap heated up. Okay, so we got some more pine sap here. I already dumped some charcoal in there, and I dumped the exact same amount. So like I said, you want about a 50-50 ratio. And now I'm going to take this, which is our bone fragments. Okay, it's only a little bit down here, and you want to be careful because it's starting to get hot. You don't want it to start on fire, and you don't want it to lose its strength. So now we dump all that in there. Okay, that's all pieces of bone. So now we're going to stir that around in there. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this off the fire a little bit. We're going to come here and we're going to scoop a little bit, cool it off. Come over here, scoop a little bit, Just going to kind of wrap it around like so. You actually want it to be nice and compact, almost like you're making a little figurine or something, a little point. You don't want it to be chunky and have air pockets in it. Okay, so we're just simply swirling this around on here. Making nice little glue sticks that are going to work great for gluing certain things together. And we'll use these down the road and show you how they work on different things. Not going to have enough time for that today. Okay, and you want to use it all up. Just go ahead and scoop it all out of your container. This is the same container I used in Florida to make the patch sticks there. Pine sap's dirty, so you don't really want to use anything nice. This is just a simple little container I had laying around, and it serves its purpose well for doing this right here. Okay, so we got most of it pretty well scooped up. Okay, so here's our different sticks right here. Alright, this is the one with our squirrel in it. Okay, it's real solid. I'm squeezing as hard as I can. Okay, now if you were to put this around some arrow, if you look close in there, you can see right here that's kind of sticking out, them squirrel hair fibers. Okay, if you get that wrapped around, like you just take it and you heat it up and you slowly wrap this around an arrowhead or whatever you're doing, that's going to hold it on there real tight. These fibers are going to act as almost like a little bit of a lashing. Okay, now here's that one I showed you at the beginning that's just straight charcoal. Okay, it's strong right here. Let me show you the tip. That took a lot of strength just to break that tip off right there, and that was just a small little tip. The rest of this, I'm not breaking it. Okay, and then here's our cement. This stuff's hard as a rock. I mean, there's no way I'm getting in there. I mean, we will use these 3 sticks later on down the road. I'm going to keep them and show you how they work actually using them on objects. And I'll maybe nap some arrows, shoot some videos on that, and we'll lash them on some honeysuckle or something like that. Okay, so I've been working this thing around here. You just want to work it around in that water. I've been doing that constantly. Get that smell of sap out of there. Okay, you're just going to work it around until it gets real gummy like this. Okay, it's just going to kind of drip and fall, and it'll start to lose that smell of pine sap. And you may like the taste of pine sap, I don't know, but I like to remove that strong resin kind of pine taste out of there because I don't like it super strong. But we're gonna get this out of here, and then you want to drain the water out, and we're gonna mix our other ingredients in there, which is some honey and beeswax kind of all together there for us, and a little bit of oil. Okay, this is just 100% olive oil. So we're going to take and mix all these ingredients together to make ourselves a little bit of chewing gum. And there is other ways to make chewing gum, and other trees you can use. You don't have to use pine. You can use what's called sweet gum as well. And I will go over that. If I don't get to it this winter, I'll go over it in the summer. Okay, so when you put your ingredients in, you just want to do a little bit at a time. A little bit of olive oil. Okay, you don't want much because you don't want it too runny. Mix that around. Okay, you're looking for the right consistency, that's all. And once you play around with it a little bit, you'll figure out what works, and then when it hardens up, you'll see that, okay, well that worked well last time when it was this consistency, when it was hot. And then when it hardens, it'll actually stay kind of chewy. Alright, so we got our beeswax and honey. We're just going to take and scoop some out with some honey in it. Drop that in there. Can never go wrong with a little extra. If you're like me, you'll love honey. So we're going to plop some of that in there. Get this back over the fire and heat it up again. Okay, and the wax and the oil is going to help keep it at that consistency you want. It's going to help turn it into more of a chewy gum type deal. And the honey is going to be your flavoring. And you can get these little containers here at local honey stores, or especially here in Tennessee, and they'll sell you little containers with the wax and the honey mixed together in it. Or you can get it, I have some wax in this bag right here from home. It's just straight beeswax from my dad's bees in Michigan. I showed you that in the Michigan video. Okay, so we got our gum left here. So you just take and peel a chunk of it out. Tastes like honey, pine sap. It's really not that bad. Okay. It's got the right chew to it. What you want to do is you just want to work with it, try some. Eventually you'll get a piece that works for you. Okay. Looks just like gum. Alright. Has a little bit of a honey flavor, a little bit of a pine flavor. That's how I make gum. I made it in Florida one time. Turned out alright. You just got to play around with the consistency because you want to get the right consistency, and then you got yourself a little nature's gum instead of that stuff with aspartame in it. Let's see how Jeremy likes it.
Got a good flavor to it.
Not bad, huh? It loses the honey flavor quick, but you still have that pine taste.
First time trying it, not nearly as weird as I was expecting. It's all about the little things while you're out here to make you enjoy yourself.
Yep, that's right. You need to clean your teeth? Let me tell you what, pine sap will do it. Like if you were out here in a survival situation and you were just, you needed something to remind you of home, you could make yourself some gum, okay? It's not going to hurt you. It's just pine sap, and it doesn't taste that bad. Okay, everyone thinks it'll taste bad. That's why you gotta boil it. If you boil it and get most of that pine sap out of there, it's not as strong, and that's why most people will say, "Oh, that's gross." But if you boil it down, it turns it into a chewy type texture. Add a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of honey, some beeswax, and it's actually not that bad. And it's going to remind you of home. You're in a survival situation, it's going to remind you of home. It's going to remind you of civilization. It's going to keep your morale up. It's going to give you something to do. It's going to give you clean teeth. It's going to clean your teeth off. Okay, and that's what it's about. So, I hope you enjoyed. Get out there and make yourself some. Make yourself some pine pitch sticks. Go glue some things together. See what works, what doesn't. And we'll get back to you with another video here.